Hello and welcome to another edition of Feel Good Friday, your weekly dose of positivity right here on our Facebook and YouTube channels. I know what you're thinking. Lauren got pink hair again. That's right. Went to the salon for the first time since January. Longest I've ever made it in my entire life. Remember, I used to have a TV career and got my hair done every 4 to 6 weeks. I let it grow out, and then when I finally got back in, I said, give me some pink. Super awesome. Love it. Feel a little bit like a rebel, without a cause. Super kudos to Allison for filling in on Feel Good Friday last week while I was away at a business retreat, thinking big and setting goals for the business. Really excited to see those play out. This week, I've got two cool stories. One is something you may have noticed if you walked around downtown or followed anything on social media. There is a chalk artist making his mark in a very big way across the city of Memphis. His name is Craig Thompson. And let me tell you about Craig, because remember when I told you way back at the beginning of these Feel Good Friday episodes that one of the things that I was struggling with is how I might be able to help when I was at home. I didn't feel like I could go out. I didn't feel safe going out, and sometimes still don't feel safe going out. And I tried to think of what I was good at. And the thing that I'm good at is spreading positivity, which is how Feel Good Friday started. Well, Craig had a similar issue. He is a designer and an artist, and he works with a lot of nonprofits just like us. And he was feeling helpless. What can I do to help? He can't go out. He didn't want to risk his exposure or his health. And he was on a walk one day when he thought, I know what I can do. I can make chalk art. Hence began what's really turned into a really big movement with some really important social justice messages. Take a look at his story.
It started when we first were locked down. And after, a few weeks, everybody's getting stir crazy. But I wanted to do something to help. For health reasons, I really can't get out and volunteer or do some other stuff like that. So I was walking around the neighborhood and seeing some of the little chalk stuff the kids were doing. It's like, I can draw. So I started doing kind of positive messages about, things to do at home, while you're locked down. I did a whole Snoopy cartoon, just trying to make it fun. I've had this building downtown now for about 20 years. And I know the protests and all were going on down here. And although I couldn't participate in that, again, I can draw. Justice is a biblical issue. It's something that's addressed in Christianity. I'm a follower of Christ, and it was important to me that people realize that they need to identify with that. That, heck, if Jesus was here, he'd probably be down here marching with the protesters. And so I wanted to undergird the spiritual foundation of what a protest movement should be about. But the whole idea was just to get across the message that this is important. This is something we should all be participating in, especially as people of faith. It's a tiny way to contribute. It's really all I know to do is to draw, but sometimes art can facilitate a conversation a little bit easier. As I've been working on these, folks come by and we get into a nice conversation about what the art's about, and then it winds up being a great conversation about race. Hopefully it brings some folks joy. It certainly has just made me feel like I can at least try to do something meaningful.
If you'd like to check out Craig's art, you can do so on South Main Street before it rains next. This next video is a world premiere of a trailer for a documentary we've been working on over the course of the last year. The documentary just so happened to this week be announced as accepted into the Nashville Film Festival. It's the 51st annual film festival, the first annual virtual version of that festival. The documentary is the story of Commissioner Tammy Sawyer running for mayor in last year's election. And as a documentary filmmaker and a former journalist who loves capturing moments, this process was very interesting. One, to be trusted, to be a part of moments that might surprise the viewer, and to be able to capture history however it unfolds, good or bad. Those things and that part of the filmmaking process have really been interesting for us to be a part of. And we thank Tammy for trusting us to be a part of that process and allowing us to see the good and the bad. This piece, really what we hope out of this film, is that folks who are watching it at home are surprised by something, anything, and that they get a behind the scenes look at what life was like for an activist turned politician running for office again. So here is a look for the world premiere, so to speak, of the trailer for We Can't Wait.
This year and on this International Women's Day, we start the journey towards electing Tammy Sawyer as the first Black woman mayor of the city of Memphis.
We knew that this was going to be one of the hardest things any of us had ever done.
Y'all can do it, but we're just not going to be here to escort y'all.
I'm approaching 80, but I'm just as strong as I was in 1991.
Mayoral candidate is in the hot seat after a series of offensive tweets she posted a decade ago have resurfaced.
This just cannot be what Memphis gets to choose between. A mayor who had resigned under an Alfred plea, and then a white mayor who is a Democrat in name only.
I wish there was joy, you know, but I've got to get it together because people need to see me strong.
We're ready, let's go.
This forward-facing collaborative movement for progress and change is here, Memphis. And we are here to say that we cannot and will not wait any longer for our city to open its doors and embrace us and embrace the change that we deserve.
Thank you, Memphis.
She's almost too big for Memphis, to the point that the pushback can be debilitating.
You can catch that documentary online starting in October. We'll post more information as that becomes available. Thanks again for tuning in this week for another edition of Feel Good Friday. Have a great weekend and be sure to find some positivity and share that with the world. We'll see you here next week, right here on our Facebook and YouTube channels.